I did kind of like not even want to say this con, but it's just the fact that I'm trying to be like real for you guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Taylor Ray, and today I am sharing my pros and cons of living in LA. I wanted to make this video for the people out there that are considering Los Angeles, but maybe have no idea where they actually want to live. So, small backstory, I moved there from Washington to live near my friends and live under the sun. I lived there a total of 5 years and 7 months before I moved back to Seattle. As always, I like to preface my videos with the simple fact that all of these pros and cons are based off of my personal experiences. I would never tell you to not move to LA just because I didn't end up staying there. I make these videos to give you things to think about and consider while you figure out if LA is the place for you. So with all that being said, let's get into the pros. Pro number one, it is really cool to live in entertainment capital. It's like living in New York and being surrounded by fashion. I feel like LA is known for its film culture. It's known for the entertainment industry. To this day, I mean, I haven't been away from LA for that long, but I think that that is something that I will always appreciate about LA and miss and love. I thought that that was really cool. I mean, you're surrounded by it. And that's kind of what I love about storytelling different cities in general is like, there are stereotypes, but it's not like a bad thing, you know? It's like the amount of aspiring actors I met or dated or were friends with, you know? Like that is such an LA thing. You don't find too many aspiring actors in Seattle. So I definitely loved that. Like the people, the energy, the culture, premieres on, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I drove past a premiere, red carpet event in general, saw paparazzi surrounding a building or a car or a person, how many celebrities I saw walking or driving down the street, just so random. That is all part of the entertainment culture that I'm kind of referring to. I felt for a long time I was gonna get into the entertainment industry like on the back end of things. There's so many opportunities there to do that, which I found to be really, really cool. And that again is kind of like part of the lifestyle. It's like somebody always knows of somebody. There's always an event to go to. And there are so many jobs that are looking for people that are hungry and wanting to get started. It's even just down to like some of my jobs that weren't entertainment related. Like when I was a field marketing manager for a kombucha brand, we ended up on like a couple of studio lots. We made drops to Ellen DeGeneres. There was like a foodie festival at one of the studio lots. I can't even like, I've been on so many studio lots now. And that's what I'm saying, like not even related to jobs that were actually in entertainment. And some of them were. So it's like, it was really cool altogether. If I could do it again, I would probably, the one things that I never attempted to get into was casting. And I think casting would have been really cool, especially I'm like a reality television junkie, so I would have wanted to be in like the reality TV world. It's really cool to live so close to the entertainment industry, so close to all of this film culture. The energy is amazing. That is for sure a major pro to living in LA. So pro number two, it is just a beautiful city. It is true, it's mostly always sunny, and it's the type of place, at least for me, that makes you feel like anything is possible. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's because you're surrounded. I think maybe for me, I just felt like I was always surrounded by so much success. And you know, I have big goals in my life. So that city really made me feel like anything was possible. I still think that anything is possible, and I still think that that city is a great place to like feel inspired. And that's kind of a hard one to describe and explain. Just like explaining energy in general is like a little tricky for me, but all I can say is that I spent many days and many nights inspired out of my mind. I think that being surrounded by that energy like really fueled me. So yeah, that one's kind of, like I said, it's tough to lock down exactly what I'm feeling when I say that. So it is just a feeling. It's like the feeling of anything is possible and your dreams can come true. So as corny as it may sound, like that's genuinely how that city made me feel, and definitely I think was a pro to living there. Overall, I just feel like there's so much opportunity there to literally be whatever you want to be. So pro number 3, LA will absolutely make your skin thick, and I think that's an amazing pro. And I don't think that every city has the capability of doing that. I think LA is one of those really tough towns that, as people like to say, chews you up and spits you out. And it's up to you whether you're gonna, you know, keep going. And I commend anybody, I mean, you gotta watch the Hollywood video because I literally talk all about that. Like, don't give up, keep going. Honestly, like, just coming back to Washington and now living in Seattle, I can't tell you how different the type of people here to there. I went into that chapter of my life like very naive. Locals see LA very differently than transplants, and that is okay. I think if I had grown up there, I would see things differently too. I'm really grateful that I went there in such an impressionable time in my life, because I feel like a big part of why I have such a strong energy now is because I lived in a city where I got taken advantage of a lot, you know, in a lot of different ways, being young and naive and not used to living in such a big place. So I learned a lot, and I attribute a lot of that to the fact that I lived in LA. I am very glad that it happened the way that it did. So yeah, if you're ready for a transformation in your life and you are open to all things, then I think that you too could go to LA and experience the same sort of growth that I did. I think it's all about being open. Because it was so new for me, I really was just kind of open to whatever, and met so many different people that way, and fell into different jobs that way, and lived in different parts of the city that way. So if you can be like open and kind of ready for anything, then I think LA is a great place for you. But I'm also not here to tell you whether LA is right for you or not. I'm here to tell you sort of like the main points of like my main pros to living in LA and my main cons, which, speaking of, it's time to talk about those cons. Okay, so as I like to say, with every pro, there is a con, and these are my personal cons to living in Los Angeles. Con number 1, this is, again, very personal. You can't live in that city without a car. I mean, I obviously made it work, but I spent a lot of extra money along the way, and it just wasn't easy. So unfortunately, living in LA, you kind of do need a car. Again, this is like a personal con, just like the sort of lifestyle that I live and that I appreciate is I love walkability, I love city life, and that's why I love to preface it, because I realize that a car is not always going to be an issue for many of you out there. So that is my con number 1. You have to have a car to live in LA. Otherwise, it's gonna be really hard. You can do what I did, but I don't recommend it. Number 2, I'm sure a lot of locals out there, if you're watching this, which hopefully you're not, because what's the point, would not agree with me. I did kind of like not even want to say this con, but it's just the fact that I'm trying to be like real for you guys, and this is genuinely how I feel about it. So it is easy to get swept up. It's easy to feel like you need to keep up. These are things that I felt as a transplant living there, and it's gonna be different for everybody. You know, at the end of the day, I realize that. So I'm putting it out there that I did experience, you know, I feel like I'm somebody who does have a lot of self-control. I am strong-willed, but I definitely found myself sort of giving into the lifestyle a little bit when I shouldn't have. My last con, which again might not be a very popular opinion, but I think that LA is more fun when you are financially comfortable, when you are financially stable. I'm saying if you have stability in the financial area of your life, that is gonna be a really fun place. When I moved there, being, you know, 20, I didn't always have a full-time job, you know, and that was a problem that eventually caught up with me. And so it's circumstantial for sure. It's not to say that if you don't have money now that you couldn't make something happen in LA. Again, back to my pros, like there's so much opportunity there. So if I were to do it over, not necessarily like the journey, because I can't really take the journey back, but but if I were to move back at a certain point in my life, I would only do it if I was financially comfortable. So that is my third con, which is you should have some money. And again, that's not set amount of money, that's not millionaires only. It's just an inexpensive town, and you're going to want to indulge, you're going to want to enjoy. You're not going to want to be on a budget all the time. Be on a budget, of course, but scraping by type of budget. Nobody wants that, especially if you're moving to a new city for the first time. So that is my final con for this video. There was definitely a time in my life where living in LA was a dream, and I am so happy and proud of myself that I made that dream come true. I will always be proud of myself for that. As of now, you know, I do live in Seattle and I think a lot about New York still. I don't really see myself moving back there. Obviously things could change, but at this point in my life, I don't really personally see it. Although visiting is always lovely, so visiting, that's fine. But in terms of moving my life back there, I would have to be for a very specific reason, and I don't have any reasons right now. So though it was a dream at one point, it is one that I accomplished and one that I can feel good about sort of moving on from. So my LA content is going to start winding down, guys. Obviously I do live in Seattle now, which is a big reason, but I wanted to get these videos out. There will be a couple more LA related videos though, and in the meantime, do check out my playlist that's dedicated to all of my LA content, which all started when I actually lived there. It's a variety of vlogs and sit downs, and I will see you guys in the next one.